Too Faced and I are working together.
Are working together again?
I know.
I know.
Take a minute. Take a minute. The Peach Collection is back. And apparently so am I.
That announcement lands very differently if you remember 2016. NikkieTutorials and Too Faced once launched a collaboration that looked like a beauty industry fairy tale, then became a case study in bad creator contracts, disputed product quality, and broken trust. Now the partnership is back, but the most important question is not why Nikkie said yes, it is whether she is actually dealing with the same Too Faced at all. There are three separate stories hiding inside this reunion. One is the deal Nikkie signed a decade ago. One is what shoppers say they received, and one is the company that owns and runs Too Faced today. Mixing those together produces an easy drama headline. Pulling them apart gives us a much more interesting answer. Go back to July 2016. Nikkie opened her reveal by saying she had spent a year working on the collection. She described the moment as surreal and presented a full kit built around her power of makeup identity, shadows, face products, liner, mascara, primer, and glitter. This was not framed as a casual sponsored post. Her name, taste, and reputation were the product.
Because after a year of working on it, I am here to reveal my collaboration with Too Faced. Too Faced and I have worked on this limited edition, The Power of Makeup collection by me, NikkieTutorials.
That distinction matters. When an influencer reviews somebody else's launch, viewers can separate the creator from the brand. When the creator's name is on the box, every swatch becomes a promise from that creator. If the retail product does not match what the audience expects, the creator absorbs the damage even when the factory, formula, and distribution are controlled elsewhere. The backlash did not appear from nowhere. A contemporaneous Temptalia review, published in August 2016, called the palette decent overall, but found the eyeshadows inconsistent. Some were dry, some sheared out, several needed a primer or adhesive base, and wear without primer was shorter. That review does not prove a secret formula switch. It does establish that uneven performance was being documented while the product was still current. And that is where the reputation problem became bigger than a normal mixed review. Nikkie's launch video showed her excitement and confidence in the products she had. Shoppers and reviewers were testing the units available to them. When those experiences did not line up, some viewers concluded that Nikkie had oversold the palette. Her credibility became the easiest target because her face was on the campaign. Years later, Nikkie gave her own version. She said she had signed the Too Faced contract because she was naive and did not know better. She also accepted that signing it was her responsibility. But she alleged that the palette's quality had been changed behind her back, leaving her confused while negative reviews arrived. The contract point was her admission. The quality change point was her allegation. Those are not the same kind of claim. Then came the number that turned a disappointing launch into beauty folklore. Jeffree Star later claimed Nikkie had accepted a flat $50,000 fee, received no residuals, and that the brand sold more than $10 million of the product. Those figures have been repeated for years, but no public contract or audited sales record in this source pack confirms them. So the responsible version is also the clearest one. Jeffree said 50,000 versus more than 10 million. Nikkie publicly said she had signed a bad contract. Together, those statements support the conclusion that she regretted the deal. They do not let us independently calculate Too Faced sales, her royalty rate, or the exact economics of the collaboration. What is beyond dispute is the power imbalance. In 2016, creators could deliver the attention while a cosmetics company controlled manufacturing, retail, legal language, and the final agreement. A creator might look like the center of the launch and still have very little control over what happened after her name went on the package. Nikkie's later message was not simply, "They did not pay me enough." She said the deeper injury was having to rebuild trust while people believed she had misled them. That makes the 2026 reunion more complicated. A new fee could address the old money narrative. It could not automatically repair the years she says she spent defending her authenticity. It is also why we should not rewrite 2016 into a story where Nikkie had no agency at all. She said she signed. She warned newer creators to get a lawyer and check their contracts. Her lesson was not that influencers are powerless, it was that visibility is not the same thing as leverage, and that creative excitement can make a weak agreement look better than it is. Now look at the corporate timeline. The original collaboration was revealed in July 2016. On December 19th of that year, Estée Lauder Companies acquired 100% of Too Faced for approximately $1.5 billion. The brand name remained Too Faced, but its owner changed only months after Nikkie's launch. Ownership alone does not erase history. Founders can remain influential after an acquisition, and Estée Lauder did not instantly replace every person or process. In fact, co-founders Jared Blandino and Jeremy Johnson stayed with the brand for years. That is why saying Too Faced was already a different company in late 2016 would be too simple. The clearer break came later. In May 2022, Estée Lauder announced that Blandino and Johnson would leave the brand effective June 30th. Tara Simon was promoted to Global Brand President. By the time of this 2026 campaign, the founders connected to the old era were no longer running Too Faced. That does not prove every culture or process changed. It does prove something narrow and important. Nikkie's new agreement was not negotiated with the exact same ownership and founder leadership structure that existed around the 2016 collaboration. Same brand and same business relationship are not identical claims. The product choice makes this reunion even smarter. Too Faced did not bring Nikkie back to introduce an unfamiliar concept. It revived Peach, one of the brand's most recognizable sensory worlds from the same period. The scent, colors, packaging, and references to 2016 do much of the emotional work before any performance claim is tested. Nostalgia marketing is powerful because it sells two products at once. There is the powder or palette in the package, and there is the memory of who the customer was when the original felt exciting. Nikkie's post leans directly into that. The Peach collection is back, and apparently so is she. The awkward history is not hidden, it becomes part of the hook. Official Too Faced posts use the same comeback language and Peach imagery. That makes this more than a random influencer review. The campaign turns an old beauty era story into launch fuel. The controversy creates curiosity, while the familiar products lower the effort required to understand what is being sold. Nikkie's caption tags Too Faced and Ulta Beauty and includes #TooFacedPartner. In the video, she says the brand reached out and that a lot can change in 10 years. So we know this is a commercial relationship. We do not know the payment, deliverables, approval rights, usage rights, or whether any old dispute was separately resolved.
You know, Too Faced and I have history.
But a lot can change in 10 years. A lot.
You know, we're older, wiser. My accountant no longer hyperventilates when Too Faced emails.
And honestly, seeing the Peach collection back after all this time, it brought me back. So when they reached out, I was like, you know what? Why the hell not? I mean, look at us. Who would have thought?
That accountant joke is a deliberate wink at the contract story. It tells the audience that Nikkie remembers exactly why this partnership looks shocking. But it is still a joke, not a disclosure of terms. Treating it as proof of a huge check would repeat the same mistake the internet made with the original deal, filling a private contract with public assumptions. What the public can measure is reach. At our research snapshot, Nikkie's post had roughly 23 million views. The official Too Faced launch post we captured had a much smaller public count. Views across different posts are not a clean value calculation, but the contrast shows that Nikkie is not arriving as a minor add-on. She is one of the campaign's main distribution engines. That is the biggest shift from 2016. Nikkie's leverage no longer comes only from being a talented creator invited into a cosmetics launch. It comes from a decade of audience loyalty, a global name, and the ability to make one unexpected announcement travel far beyond the brand's own post. The company has leverage too. Too Faced owns the product history, retail relationships, manufacturing operation, and the peach identity people remember. The reunion works because each side holds something the other cannot recreate alone. The brand owns the archive, while Nikkie owns the human story that makes reopening that archive feel like an event. That does not mean the power is perfectly equal. We have not seen the contract. It means the visible exchange is different. In 2016, Nikkie's reputation was attached to a product she says she could not fully control. In 2026, her public history with the company is itself a bargaining asset. The skeptical reading is obvious. Too Faced is using controversy and nostalgia to generate attention, and Nikkie accepted a paid opportunity from a brand she once criticized. That interpretation is fair as long as it stays within the evidence. The campaign is commercial. The old conflict makes it more clickable. Neither fact proves that the partnership is cynical or that Nikkie's opinion of the products is false.
I'm really glad that NikkieTutorials is finally getting some redemption. Yes, it says paid partnership. That means she got a fat check to review this makeup, and thank God because she deserves it.
Jeffrey calls the deal redemption. That is his interpretation, and his fat check line is not evidence of an amount. The more benign reading is that new leadership offered Nikkie terms she was comfortable with, she liked the idea of revisiting Peach, and both sides decided that 10 years was enough distance. The available evidence cannot choose between a heartfelt reset and a purely strategic deal. It may be both. So what actually changed? The ownership changed. The founders left. Nikkie's audience and business experience grew. The new relationship is openly framed as a partnership, and the old controversy, once a liability, became part of the launch narrative. What has not been established? We do not know the current fee. We do not know whether Nikkie received royalties, creative control, or compensation connected to the old dispute. We do not know that every problem inside Too Faced vanished, and a new campaign does not retroactively prove or disprove the reported numbers from 2016. The cleanest conclusion is not that Nikkie forgot what happened. Her own video shows that she expects the audience to remember. The point is that returning to the same logo does not always mean returning to the same negotiation. 10 years ago, her name helped sell the product. In 2026, the history attached to her name is part of the product, and this time, everyone knows it.